Hello, everyone. My name is Tara, and welcome to Aligning to Love. In this channel, I aim to spread hope, joy, peace, and love to the world by sharing goodness and love within my life. In this video, I wanted to share my personal and family life updates and events, as well as the signs that I saw along the way. And this video is going to be very special to me because it's the last time that my family is going to be all together in the home that we've created the last 10 years. And I wanted to be able to film this video with our living room backdrop and know that as I'm speaking, my husband and my daughter are sleeping in the next room. And that's how I've always done my videos, is when my family is sleeping so that I can have downtime to myself and also the quiet room to even film in. And so there's lots of emotions that we've been going through as a family in the last 6 months, but primarily the last 2 months, and especially the last 2 weeks. And I am filming this out of order because I wanted to talk about the adventures that we've had in the last few days and be able to share it in the home environment that is the rock of our life. Because soon my husband will be going to his job. It starts on Monday, July 7th, which is also his birthday. I always thought it was funny that his birthday, well, not funny, but very interesting. And I thought he was fortunate to have the birthday 7-7 because that's an angel number, and that represents that you are fortunate and that good things are coming your way with 77, and that you've been working hard, and the seeds of your ambitions and goals in life are taking root, and you may not see them in the moments that you hope for, but they are going to be coming to you in the future. And so I always thought that was really interesting that that was his birthday. Anyway, today is also the 4th of July. And so I also wanted to say thank you to all the men and women who have served our country and have allowed it to be everything it is, with the freedoms and the rights that we have as citizens. And I'm thankful for all of the sacrifices that people throughout all the generations before us have made for this country. And my hope is that somewhere in the future that countries won't need to have people fight and protect and serve our country, because my hope is that there will be world peace and love and joy and acceptance and kindness throughout every nation. And we won't need to have those sacrifices made. So that would be my hope and my longing for the future of this country and the future of the world. And so that's always my heart's desires for not only my family and my daughter, but every person and soul on this earth. So getting back on track, I wanted to start off on June 28th. June 28th is one of my good friend's birthdays that I grew up with, that I've known her since middle school. And she's been a really big part of my life throughout 13 years old all the way to now. And the last 10 years of our lives, we don't get to talk or see each other as regularly as we did when we were kids, but we're still really present with each other during our big life milestones and achievements that we've had and that we've accomplished. And I was sad that I couldn't get a birthday card out to her before her birthday so it could get to her on her birthday, but I was thankful that I pulled it together. I was able to get to the post office Saturday morning before they closed at noon and mailed a card out to her. And it was a birthday card along with a congratulations card because her and her partner got married this past winter, and I haven't been able to see them since, well, yeah, since the winter, I believe. And I wanted to send our congratulations, send her birthday wishes, and have her know that my husband and Juniper and I can't wait to celebrate with her and our other friends when we all are able to be in the same place together. And so then when I came home from the post office that day, my husband and we'd been discussing, and we knew that our tensions have been running high. Stress has been very elevated in our lives with preparing for the move and the transitions that we've been undertaking. And we all knew that we just needed a way to be relaxed, to enjoy each other's company. And we decided last minute to go to Maine. And my aunt and uncle and my cousins have had a place up in Old Orchard Beach, but they have been going through so many life changes as well. And they have had both my cousins have been, so my cousin and his wife, and my other cousin and their wife, his wife, they have been both getting into houses, renovating houses, and also waiting to move into their houses. And so that's been occurring in the last couple months for them. And there's been a lot of work and a lot of waiting and a lot of just transitions for these happy occasions for them. And it's finally been happening for them. And then my other cousin, she's a nurse, and my other cousin who's been waiting to get into their house and been doing renovations to their house, his wife is also a nurse. And so trying to get everyone together with their schedules and all of the life events happening for everyone has been really challenging. And my husband and I didn't want to make anyone feel obligated to be able to see us when we went up to Maine. And so we decided to get a little room at an inn that I've seen all the time that I've been up there visiting them, but we've never actually stayed at because we've stayed with them, and they've been really generous over all of the years since I was 18, since they have had the location up in Maine. They've always invited our family and my parents and my brother and all of other relatives to come see them. And we didn't want to put that stress on them, especially when we knew all of the milestones that were happening for them. And the inn was wonderful. Everyone was so welcoming and kind and just very thoughtful. Oh, but before I talk about the inn, when my husband and I made that decision, we decided, all right, let's go to the ocean. It will be a fun family adventure. Juniper hadn't been to the ocean since she was 4 months old. Now she can walk and run and move, and she'll be able to experience the beach and play in the sand. So once we loaded up our car and got moving, we were finally on the road, and my husband said that his phone said it was 222 miles to get there, and that his battery was on 22%, so we'll have to charge it. And those are angel numbers. And for me, whenever I see 22 or 222, it represents balance, harmony, and to have faith, and to make sure that my relationships are being strengthened, cared for, and looked after with love. And 222, if you've seen my other videos, is my daughter's birthday number. She also has an angel number for her birthday. And that's always, for me as a mom, has always reminded me to balance my needs, balance my husband's needs, and balance my daughter's needs, and know that relationships are the key factors of life. You could lose everything in life, but as long as you have the people that you love and the relationships that mean the most to you, you have everything you ever need. And when my husband said that, I knew that that's exactly what we needed, this little weekend trip away to the ocean. And so we didn't leave until like 1 o'clock, I believe. No, we didn't leave until, well, after I got, yeah, 12:30 or 1, I believe, because the post office closes at noon. And so we got on the road and we got to the inn, and everyone was so welcoming, so kind, and it was just a nice drive. Everything worked out the way that it was meant to, because sometimes getting up to Maine, we're stuck in traffic, we're just bumper to bumper, and we were just sailing through the highway, and we did not hit any traffic, and we made record time, and that would made us all happy because we could really enjoy the day and take advantage of the time in the afternoon there instead of just having the evening. And so, like I said, I've said multiple times, everyone at the inn was so kind. They were so welcoming, and our room was gorgeous. Some inns we go to, our rooms were really small, and we also had to bring the crib that our daughter sleeps in. And so we were surprised that our room was really quite big in our expectations, and her crib fit. We had a trundle bed with us, and it was hysterical because the trundle bed that they had in our room is the exact model that we have in our apartment for our guest and for our guest room. And it was like uh, it was like a home away from home. And we had a nice queen bed with a refrigerator so that we could have her milk and her snacks and everything when we needed them. And it was great. We got settled, and then we just headed right out and started walking around town and had our stroller to carry all of our luggage, and, well, not luggage for around town, but the materials we needed for our daughter. And she enjoyed strolling around, looking at all the people, looking at all the shops. And we ate out on the Old Orchard Beach Pier at the very last restaurant on the dock. And I'm blank. I think it's called the Pier, but I can't remember what that last restaurant is out at the very end of the dock. But my husband and I have always gone there ever since we've known each other, and ever since we've taken all these trips up to Maine to see my aunt and uncle. And we were sad because the last trip we were there, my daughter was so little that we didn't get to actually go out much or to be at the beach very long because we were worried about the sun exposure for her because she was a newborn. And now she was 16 months old, and she enjoyed being out and about. We could take her to the restaurant. This was the second restaurant that we were able to take her out to eat at. And so it was big milestones. The last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of big milestones. And she enjoyed herself. They gave her a little cup that had a cover with fish and scuba divers on it. I was able to get a lobster roll. My husband got a was it a haddock sandwich? Yeah, I can't remember if it was a haddock sandwich or another seafood sandwich, but we enjoyed it. And we were also so thankful for our food came really fast to us, which was perfect with our daughter. And we also got some refreshing drinks, and we just really enjoyed the day. The fact that we were at the beach, being around the ocean for me always calms me. It always grounds me, and it just instantly relaxes me. And to be at this restaurant and to be able to look down and see the ocean underneath us and the beach aside from us on the side views and having the sun out, it was just exactly the recharging trip that I needed, and I believe my whole family needed. And so after we ate lunch, we were able to walk around town some more. We went into different shops. We got to just take in all the views, take in all the people, and really just let our spirits be free. we did end up going back to the room. My daughter had a nap, and we got some downtime to chill and also be out of the sun. And then for dinner, we went back downtown and we went to a restaurant that has always been one of my favorites there. And it's called Joseph's by the Sea. And it's really funny because my brother's best friend, who is like a second brother to me, his name is Joseph. And so we'd always say, oh, we're going to go to Joseph's restaurant because Joseph has also been able to come with us on one of the trips, and well, more than one of the trips, to see our uncle and our aunt. And I believe, yeah, he has been to that restaurant a few times. And so I always think of him whenever we go to that restaurant, and it actually burned down. And I can't remember if it was a few years ago or 5 years ago, but it was really devastating because unfortunately the restaurant had burned down, and we were just really sad because we didn't know if they were going to rebuild it, if it was going to be turned into something new. But luckily they did rebuild it. It has the exact same name, it has the exact same atmosphere, and it has a beautiful view of the ocean. And if you're fortunate to get a reservation and to eat on the deck upstairs to see the view, or on the deck downstairs, it's amazing. It's gorgeous. And with us having this last minute trip, we did not make reservations, so we didn't know if we were going to be able to eat there. And it was a little upscale for having a 16-month-old, so we didn't know if that was going to be a good fit. But luckily, they were able to get us in. We had to eat inside, but we had the glass views of the ocean looking out to it, so that was really fortunate and thankful. And they gave us crayons and coloring pages for Juniper, and that was really the first time that she's ever been able to color or manipulate writing tools in a restaurant. So that, again, this was the third restaurant that we were able to bring her out to eat at, and it was successful again. And she really enjoyed coloring, and the crayons were smaller in size, so it really took a lot more fine motor skill for her to be able to hold on to it and use it. And that was just made me so happy and proud of her to watch her with learning how to hold different size writing utensils. And I was just so proud of her, and I was just so happy I was able to get to watch all of this. And so it was a slower wait for our food, which was a little stressful, but we were just so happy to be able to be out and about, that and to be able to have conversations with each other while my daughter was coloring. She was dropping a lot of the crayons underneath the table, so it was like we were getting a workout trying to pick them up and keep them on the table and help her get a drink. And because she was so excited to have a cup that had a cover, but we even with the cover, she kept getting more water down her front because she couldn't do the angle by herself, and we were trying to help her, but she wanted to be independent. And so that was hilarious. And we finally got our food, and it was delicious. It was very high quality food. You could tell that they took their time making it delicious. And so we were very happy to have that. And then after that, we headed back to our room at the inn. And the location of that inn is really perfect because it's right at the top of the hill. And it's very peaceful and quiet up there, but it's literally a 1 minute walk, and then you're down right in the heart of the town. And so I hope that we go back to this inn multiple times in the future, because it really is such a quaint and such a perfect location for it. And we had a nice, peaceful night, relaxing night. Juniper slept through the whole night, which was wonderful. My husband did have to run out to the Walgreens to get milk for her nighttime bottle before she went to bed, and to get that routine situated, especially when we're away from home. We're a little bit more lenient. We're trying to get her off the bottle. We have been really successful with limiting her bottle use. We were supposed to be completely off the bottle by 18 months, and so we're ahead of the game, but the nighttime routine for her has been hard. And I always have more empathy and sympathy for her when we're away, because she doesn't have the structure of home. She doesn't have her normal environment. So if we can give her something that is comforting, other than the books that we read and the cuddle time before bed, and having that bottle when we're away from home for her has been something that always helps her. So we did that, and we all slept through the night, and it was a gorgeous day the next day. And we got up I got up at 6:30, and my husband got up a half hour later, and we went down to the beach. Well, first, before we went to the beach, we went to this place called, I think it's Beach Bagels, and we had egg sandwiches for breakfast on bagels, and it was wonderful. And usually this restaurant or this bakery is packed, especially if you don't get up till 9 or 10. It's people throughout the entire town that go there, it feels like, and they're standing outside the door, and lines are going down the road. And I'm not even exaggerating, because this little bakery is so small. There's not a lot of waiting space inside. There are a few seats inside, but only for couples, like two people at most at each bench. And so we were fortunate to get a little seat outside in the shade, and just we were just happy to get a place to eat there and to enjoy our breakfast. By that time it was around 8, and we decided, because we had a free breakfast that went with our stay at the inn, we decided to go back up to the inn, because their breakfast is from 8 to 10. And so we did. We went back up. We had some muffins. We had grabbed some cereal for Juniper to have as a snack for the day. And we just grabbed some other items that we thought we could be portable to bring down to the beach and easy access for snacks. We also cleaned up our room. We got everything we needed out of our room and checked out. And then, knowing that we were checked out, we went down to the beach, and we made sure everything was in the car. And we actually we would have walked down to the beach, but knowing we weren't going to go back up to the inn, we checked out, we loaded up the car, we drove the car down to the beach entrance and paid for parking. And we got there around 9 or 9:30, somewhere in between there. And we got 2 solid hours at the beach, and we had this nice beach tent that had SPF 50 sun blocking technology on it. And we've had this tent, we ordered this tent before I even gave birth to my daughter, and we've never been able to use it, because we didn't end up using it when she was a newborn, because we didn't stay at the beach very long. The last trip in June that we made, she dipped her feet in. We were there a few minutes, but then we headed back to my aunt and uncle's house so that we could have access to all of her things that she needed more regularly at that time. And so we were pumped. My husband was able to figure out how to put the tent up. We put all the window panels up so that we had lots of shade. And it was just a perfect morning. There was still not many people on the beach. We got to choose wherever we wanted to set up. And then we realized that once we got the tent set up, once we had water, we didn't have any toys for my daughter to play with in the sand. So my husband went and got some sand toys. He got her a pail and a shovel and a rake and what is that other? A shifter, or not a sifter. That's what it is, when you put the sand in and then it all sifts out. And then it also came with a watering can. And so that was so fun to be able to share that experience of her first beach toys, and seeing my husband play with her and make sand castles and mud pies, and being able to do that myself, and each of us getting it on videotape with us playing with her. Everything about this trip made my heart so happy, and we had so many milestones. And so we got texts from my aunt and uncle that they had made it back up to Maine, and we decided that we were going to go see them at 11:30. And so when 10:50 and 11 o'clock rolled around, we started cleaning up the sand. We started the sand toys, and my husband put away the tent, and we did actually make it down in the water quite a lot. I think 3 or 4 times with Juniper, and she got to swift her. We pulled her. We dipped her in the water and swished her around a lot, multiple times throughout the 2 hours in that morning. And she loved the cool water. At first, she didn't like standing in the sand as she sunk in it when the tide would come up and the waves would come up. She didn't like that texture. And it was so funny because I always loved the texture of the wet sand in the water, but I never liked the dry sand on the beach. That was what I didn't like, and she was the opposite. And I thought that was really funny. And so we did one more dip in the water before we headed out, and then we got all of the gear. My husband packed it all in the car again while I held her, and that's usually the routine of things. Sometimes we switch it up, but he's able to carry more things, and he's stronger than I am with that, with carrying uncomfortable and awkward things. So he's usually the one loading the car up. And then we headed up to my aunt and uncle's, and it was just so amazing to see them. We hadn't seen them in over a year, and I would have loved for my cousins and their partners to see Juniper, but again, their schedules and their milestones of life just didn't allow for the time to do that, and that's okay. And I know we're going to get to see everyone in the future, and the longer we wait for Juniper to see people, the more expressive she is, the more hilarious and independent she is, which makes the time more enjoyable for people and more entertaining. So I'm not worried about that. And hopefully she'll be able to remember more if she's older when we go visit people. And my aunt and uncle, it was just so nice to be able to have a relaxing conversation with them. They were so excited to see Juniper. And my uncle, he made some excellent burgers for us for lunch. And my aunt and I had turkey burger, and my uncle and my husband had regular hamburgers. And it was just so awesome. And my aunt also had a fruit salad that was delicious, and Juniper ate lots of fruit from that. And my aunt was still wondering if Juniper was going to be hungry, and she was wondering should she make mac and cheese. And so they made us macaroni and cheese for her, Annie's, for Juniper. And Juniper ended up falling asleep, and so my husband and I were still eating. So my aunt said, "Oh, let me hold her while you guys eat." And she just loved all the baby snuggles and being able to hold Juniper when she was napping. And my husband and I were appreciative because we got to talk to my uncle and my aunt while we got to have a relaxing lunch and actually focus on our food and the conversation. So that was so nice. We got a few hours to catch up with them. And so they filled our hearts, they filled our bellies, and then they were able to send us on our way back home. And it was such an amazing trip. And we're very fortunate to have been able to see them, to be able to spend time with them, and to get away to the ocean for our family. And so we had spent Saturday, we left Saturday, we spent one night. Actually, no, I got that wrong. I went to the post office, and it wasn't until, was it Sunday we left? I don't know. All the days are blurring together. Now I'm forgetting if we left Saturday. No, we left on Sunday, and that's why the traffic was so smooth. We didn't have any traffic, and we came home on Monday. And yeah, so we came home on Monday, and it was Tuesday would have been July 1st, because my husband had to make sure that he was home, or he was able to be in Middlebury on July 1st, because that was his orientation for the first round of medical things that he had to make sure were in medical documents for his immunization. He had to do some blood work because he'd be working at a hospital and making sure that all of his paperwork and all of his requirements for being able to work at a hospital were completed. And so that was July 1st, when on Tuesday was July 1st. But anyway, I just wanted to share about this adventure that my family had. It was exactly what we needed. And I saw lots of angel numbers on license plates. I saw just so many happy people on the road, which is great because sometimes you have people, when you look out your window, they're strung out or they're angry. And we saw families on the road. We saw kids putting their hand out the window, letting the air go through their fingers. And it just felt like everyone was so happy and filled with joy. And it's exactly what my family needed. So I'm going to end the video here. And I hope all of you have a wonderful 4th of July celebration. And I love you all. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.